It is 1206. A man stands on the Mongolian steppe and receives a title no human being has ever held before. Universal ruler, ruler of all who live in felt tents. Genghis Khan. The name will become the most feared word in the history of warfare. The man who holds it was born with nothing, less than nothing. He was born a slave son on the edge of the world, abandoned by his tribe at 9 years old, kidnapped at 16, sold into bondage. He escaped alone into the wilderness with nothing but a rope around his neck. And from that, from absolute zero, he built the largest contiguous land empire in the history of the human race. 1206. The year that should not exist. The year a nobody became everything. By the end of this video, you will understand why 1206 is not just the year Genghis Khan rose to power. It is the year the medieval world discovered that every assumption it had made about power, civilization, and strength was completely wrong. And you will understand why the world Genghis Khan created is still the world we live in today. The vault is open. To understand 1206, you have to understand the Mongolian steppe. Forget everything you think you know about civilization. The steppe is not a civilization. It is a vast treeless grassland stretching across the center of Asia, from modern China to modern Hungary, 3,000 miles of wind and grass and nothing. No cities, no temples, no libraries, no kings in palaces, just clans of nomadic herders moving with their animals across an ocean of grass, surviving winters that killed horses where they stood, fighting each other constantly over water and pasture and livestock. Life on the steppe was brutal, short, and defined by one principle above all others: the strong take, the weak lose everything. Into this world, in approximately 1162, a boy was born to a minor clan chief named Yesugei. The boy was born clutching a blood clot in his fist, an omen, the shaman said, of a great warrior to come. His father named him Temujin, after an enemy he had just defeated. The name means iron. When Temujin was 9 years old, his father was poisoned by Tatar enemies at a feast. The Tatars slipped something into his drink during what was supposed to be a peaceful meeting. Yesugei rode home and died 3 days later. Temujin watched his father die. He was 9 years old. His clan abandoned the family immediately. A chief's widow and her children were liabilities, not assets. In a world where survival was the only law, feeding mouths that could not fight was a luxury nobody could afford. Temujin's mother Holin was left alone on the steppe with 7 children and almost nothing to eat. No clan, no protection, no food. They survived for years on roots, berries, marmots, and whatever small animals they could trap along the riverbanks. They were one bad winter away from dying on the grass. Temujin killed his own half-brother in a dispute over food. He was approximately 10 years old. The steppe did not produce soft men. It produced survivors, or it produced corpses. When Temujin was around 16, a rival clan kidnapped him and held him captive. A heavy wooden collar locked around his neck, paraded between camps as a trophy, a living symbol of his clan's weakness. He escaped, alone, at night, into the open steppe with the collar still around his neck. He hid in a river. He found a family willing to hide him at great personal risk. He removed the collar. He began again. He found allies. He built trust. He began to accumulate something that nobody on the steppe had paid much attention to before. Not cattle, not horses, not territory, loyalty. The steppe clans ran on blood ties. You were loyal to your clan because you shared blood. Temujin offered something different, loyalty based on merit, on shared purpose, on what you could earn rather than what family you were born into. He adopted orphans into his household as brothers. He promoted skilled warriors regardless of their clan origin. He shared plunder equally rather than keeping the lion's share for himself. He was building something the steppe had never seen, not just a clan, an army. By the time Temujin was in his 30s, he had united the fractured Mongol tribes through a combination of military genius, political intelligence, and the kind of personal charisma that made men follow him into situations where death was the most likely outcome. In 1206, at a great assembly of all the Mongol clans on the banks of the Yonnan River, he was proclaimed Genghis Khan, universal ruler. The title was not a metaphor, he intended it literally. What came next was unlike anything the medieval world had experienced. The Mongol army was not just a cavalry force, it was a precision military machine built around speed, intelligence, and psychological terror. Mongol riders could cover 100 miles in a day, 3 times faster than any European army could march. They carried everything they needed on horseback: food, shelter, weapons, spare horses. Each warrior rode with multiple horses, switching between them to maintain speed across enormous distances. They communicated across vast distances using a relay system of riders stationed at intervals, messages moving faster than any army could march and faster than any enemy could warn the next city of what was coming. Before attacking a city, Genghis Khan always sent emissaries with a simple ultimatum. The message was always the same: surrender and you will be spared. Resist and everyone dies. He meant it both times. Cities that surrendered were absorbed into the empire and often flourished. Mongol rulers were famously tolerant of different religions and cultures, allowing conquered peoples to maintain their own traditions as long as they paid tribute and supplied soldiers. Cities that resisted were destroyed so completely that travelers crossing the region years later reported passing through areas with no living thing visible, no people, no animals, no crops. Just ruins and silence and the smell of what had been there before. The Mongol conquests killed somewhere between 30 and 40 million people, approximately 10% of the entire world population at the time. Entire civilizations were erased. The Khwarezmian Empire, one of the most powerful Islamic states in the world, was destroyed in 3 years. The Mongols killed the last Abbasid caliph in Baghdad in 1258, ending 500 years of the caliphate, destroying the House of Wisdom, throwing its books into the Tigris River until the water ran black with ink. China, Persia, Russia, Poland, Hungary, all fell to the Mongol advance. In 1241, a Mongol army reached the outskirts of Vienna. Europe was next. Then, unexpectedly, the great Khan died, and the army turned back to Mongolia for the election of a new leader. Europe never knew how close it came. Genghis Khan died in 1227, 21 years after his proclamation as universal ruler. The cause of his death is debated: a fall from a horse, an arrow wound, a fever. He was buried somewhere in Mongolia in a secret location. His funeral escort killed everyone they encountered on the way back, so nobody could reveal where the great Khan lay. 10,000 horses were reportedly driven over the burial site to obliterate any trace. The location has never been found. He ordered that his grave should never be marked, never be found. The man who conquered half the world wanted to disappear into the earth of the steppe he came from. His last wish was the most Mongolian thing he ever did. So, what is 1206? It is the year that proves something fundamental and uncomfortable about human civilization. The settled world, the world of cities, walls, armies, kings, libraries, believed it was stronger than the nomadic world. It was not. The Mongol Empire at its peak connected China to Europe in a single political entity. For the first time in history, goods and ideas could move from one end of the Eurasian continent to the other under the protection of one power. The Silk Road, the great trading road connecting East and West, functioned more safely and efficiently under Mongol rule than at any point before or after. The bubonic plague traveled that route too, moving west along the Mongol trade network, arriving in Europe in 1347, killing 1/3 of the population. The world Genghis Khan connected was a world that could share everything, including disease. 1206 is the year that made the modern world, its trade, its connections, its disasters, possible. One man, one step, one word proclaimed on the banks of a river in the middle of nowhere. Genghis Khan, universal ruler. He meant it. The world found out he was right. 1206. A boy born with nothing who survived slavery, abandonment, kidnapping, and starvation. Who built loyalty where there was only blood. Who created an empire where there was only grass. Who connected the world, and in connecting it, changed it forever in ways that nobody standing on the banks of the Onan River in 1206 could possibly have imagined. The greatest conqueror in human history died without a marked grave. The steppe took him back. The world he made remained. If this story made you think, leave a comment. Was Genghis Khan the greatest leader in human history or its greatest destroyer? Can a man be both? Subscribe to the Vault of Numbers. Every week, one number, one story history forgot to tell you. The next number in the vault? 480. A king took 300 men to a narrow mountain pass. He knew they would not come back. He went anyway. The vault remains open.